The following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Discretion is advised.
Welcome to episode 106 of Rare Form Radio with myself, Dan Cleary, my co-host, the one and only GOAT, Mr. Tom Brady, and today we're joined by my friend and one of my longtime heroes from ministry, Mr. Al Jourgensen.
How you doing, guys?
I'm good. I'm good.
How you doing?
Thank you for safety first when it came to my friend here.
I don't want his germs.
Why? Because he's a MAGA dude?
Maybe we were just talking about this.
So
I don't know what he did. He pulled something at that White House ceremony.
Let's talk about that for a second, because I want to do let's do the whole hour deep dive on Tom Brady's political leanings.
Why not?
I'm in.
Seems like you've lost sleep over it. You're agonizing over this. Whether he was dissing Biden or whether he was dissing Trump with that little 40% dig on
the Buccaneers won the Super Bowl last year.
Yes, sir.
And like with every sports team, you go and visit the White House the following year. And historically, Brady has been seen as a Trump dude.
Yeah.
Because he had the MAGA hat in his locker. He's golfed with Trump, which alone doesn't make you a bleeding red Republican guy. But it didn't look good to me.
No.
And I've struggled with it as a Patriots fan for years. But he went to the White House last week and made a comment about how people didn't expect the Buccaneers to win, and how some people don't believe they did win, and how 40% of the country doesn't believe that they won, which people can take as a dig at Trump and his supporters, but you think it might be a dig at Biden.
Yeah. Who knows, man? That was pretty ambiguous, and Brady has cultivated his image like so perfectly. Like you don't know what he's about. Okay?
Like Derek Jeter in a way.
Like Derek Jeter.
Yep.
Very similar. And so was that a dig at Biden? I'm not sure. I'm not sure it was a dig at Trump either. I think it was a funny quip.
Mm-hmm. It was good.
But still, and also if you notice, he didn't go to the last one.
Right.
At the White House because also cultivating his image. He may be friends with Trump and golf with him, but he knows better. His publicist knows that like it probably is gonna get some feedback if you're seen with him a lot.
Don't take a side, basically.
Right.
Which is smart. They say that of comedians and many musicians.
Right. So what happened to me?
There you go. Well, you took many sides throughout your career, but
there's
the right side.
One side.
That's on the right side.
The left side.
Yeah, I agree.
Not the right side.
Do you have any friendships with staunch Republicans? Are you able to have that kind of relationship?
Yes, I actually. Well, no, not staunch Republicans. With Republicans who have voted Republicans, yes.
Yep.
Some musicians.
Sure.
I'll say.
People would be surprised. They're in there.
People would be surprised.
Uh-huh.
We toured with recently.
Oh, really?
With Republican musicians.
Interesting.
And I've recorded but they're not staunch. Mm-hmm. They're not like QAnon, gung-ho, 1-6, conspiracy, this, that, anti-vax, blah, blah, blah. They're basically just thinking that the Republican Party is just looking after their taxes on money that they deserve, that they've actually made in the music business, which doesn't pay money to anyone except a select few anymore.
Absolutely. Yep.
So I could understand that, but I don't get like the dogma from these people. So yes, I get along with them.
Likewise. Yep.
So
my entire family, like pretty much everyone in my family is all historically Republican, conservative voters.
My mom's fucking QAnon, man.
I think my mom might be too.
Yeah, I mean it's bad.
My mom thought that she literally, we argued once that she told me that Obama was a terrorist. And I was like, okay, Mom, why? She goes, Dan, his middle name is Hussein. I mean, come on.
Well, that seals the deal.
That's it.
That's it.
I mean, his parents knew from birth he was going to be a terrorist, and they named him appropriately. Yeah, it's crazy to me. How do you think we can get past all this QAnon stuff? Do you have any idea? I mean, you've been around a long time. You've been active in politics, and you keep your eyes open all the time.
Yeah.
Is there a way through this?
Yeah, I think it's just a consistent barrage of shame.
Hey, I'm in. I'm game.
Just like, just quips. Just like, yeah, really? I mean, in other words, you diminish it by just going, really? You know, which is kind of shaming somebody. Like, they're very passionate about something they're telling you, and then you just go, and I know it makes me sound pompous, you know, in a way, but at some point you just have to just like not give into transactional thought with people that only have one thought.
The problem has been entertaining these ideas for the last few years.
Right. Well, the problem is mainstream media gives a megaphone as loud to these things because they're so crazy as they do to the real things that we need to do to assess problems and stuff.
Climate and stuff like that, yeah.
But it's always like, you know, whataboutism.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, at this point, I'm just to the point of just like, yeah, I'm happy for you, whatever.
Yep.
And make sure you stay 6 feet away from me and you have a fucking mask on.
There you go. Right. Because it's falling apart. The Midwest and everything is going nuts right now.
Well, but it's funny if you notice, like all of a sudden all the Republicans are like,
cowards.
Yeah, it's great to get vaccines. We never said it was bad and this and that. And you know why that happened? Because Wall Street dropped 1,000 points the other day when they saw that the economy is not going to recover because people are getting sick at a higher rate, and we're going to go back to pandemic level transactions in Wall Street and all this. And so the Wall Street overlords called the Republicans and said, you got to stop this anti-vax stuff. Tucker Carlson won't, because he still, you know, makes ratings. He'll be the one, you know, that, but even Hannity.
He came out.
Yeah, came out. So it's just like, at that point, you know, the Wall Street overlords are telling the Republicans, like, you got to
do something,
man.
And also, your voters are dying now.
Right.
So
yeah. And also,
we're losing numbers here.
We're
losing our A team.
Shooting yourself in the foot, kind of thing. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, I've always I've enjoyed having debates and talking to people on both sides, but it's getting harder and harder to do that because you're not. I feel like you're not talking to people that live in reality.
You're talking at or past them.
Yeah.
And they're talking at or past you.
And there's people on the left, too, that refuse to hear any other side.
Exactly.
And that's not equally as damaging, but it's super damaging.
Exactly.
We have to be able to communicate.
What's funny, when I was growing up, it's like, you know, the left were like, you know, the hippies that planted bombs in federal buildings and stuff like that. And now I've lived long enough to see a complete reversal. And now it's all the right-wingers that plant bombs and this and that to change culture and all this. But I don't know. I'm sticking with the hippies.
Hell yeah.
Sorry, dude.
Hell yeah.
Like, I can't see this whole right-wing mentality. I don't understand. I know this much. Like, all governments are corrupt.
Yep.
All governments look good on paper. Democracy, socialism, even communism looks good on paper. Everyone's making their fair share and doing their fair stuff, and everyone gets their fair share of the pie.
Yeah.
That's all great. The problem is humans run what's written on the paper, and humans are corruptible. And here we are. So all the major governances are corrupt, period. The ones that don't look good on paper to me is fascism. And that's what this seems to be revolving into on the Republican Party. And that doesn't look, not only does it not look good on paper, but it's not served itself well throughout history.
No. You don't see a whole lot of
it's not a winning solution.
Flourishing fascist countries in history.
No.
Doesn't last very long.
No.
You get like 5, 6, 7 years, and you're pretty much done.
Yeah, 1,000-year right. Good luck with that.
I don't think so.
More like 1,000-day or
Have
something.
Have you seen a massive bump in listenership for your song Antifa in the last couple of years? I imagine it would have boomed on the streaming services.
Well, I've seen it on from the right wing opposition.
I'm sure.
Oh yeah, these snowflakes. The right wing is just completely. They're just projectionist.
Oh yeah.
It's just like you're a snowflake and all that. But as soon as you say something to them, it's
Cancel
like,
them.
cancel it. It's like so. It's just so hypocritical. So yes, I've got death threats, this, that, blah blah blah. You name it. I don't care. Good, put me out of my misery. Just come fucking shoot me tomorrow. Over a song, really, dude.
I love that you're at this point in your career where you've gotten so many death threats now, where you're just like, okay, whatever.
I'm happy
what the fuck
for
ever?
you.
Who cares? Come at me. I'll be in my pool if you need me.
Exactly.
Oh my
Just don't
God.
spill the drink when you shoot me, man.
There you go.
Just like-
It's a beverage involved, man. I know that you have ties to Cuba. You're Cuban, right?
Yes, sir.
Like
I was
in your
born
blood.
there.
You're born in Cuba.
Yes.
Can you give me a quick rundown as to what's going on there right now?
Yeah, they're just sick of corruption. It's the same thing. I mean, you can say it's communist Cuba with the Castros, or it's socialist Cuba with their, involvement with Russia during the Cold War, this and that, blah, 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 blah. No. It's all a kleptocracy, which is what we're trying to do here. The right wing is trying to do is just make all governments a kleptocracy, which is basically fascism. It's just it's like a mafia family running a country.
Right.
And then they replace all the professionals in all the departments and just put their cronies in there, and it becomes a kleptocracy. And then, like for instance, Russia with Putin, it's literally just a bunch of gangs running a country with one head gang leader. I mean, it's no different than like the crack or heroin trade in Harlem, and only a lot more money involved, and they have weapons,
right?
A lot more than just like AKs on the street, like
they got like real
they got
push the button type weapons.
So, but that's what they're all just like. Okay, so what's gonna probably happen is that they'll crack down first to show like, we're still in control, and which they have. They've jailed all the poet, artist, and journalists in Cuba over the last 2 weeks, and it's like brutal. The crackdown is brutal. It's almost as bad as Belarus. That's going on right now with Lukashenko, which he's insane. He's like Bolsonaro in Brazil. They're equally as nuts. But what's going on in Cuba is that they're gonna like loosen restrictions, but the problem is it's still a kleptocracy. It's not a matter of it's a communist country or a democratic country. It's a kleptocracy. So, like for instance, all our remittance payments and all these things that we send to Cubans' relatives down there are all confiscated by the government. That's another scandal. It's like all these Americans sending like to their. They can't get visas, they can't do this, they can't do that, so they're stuck in this thing, and so we send them a little extra dolores, and the government takes 75 to 80% of that, no matter what, off the top. Ugh. So that's why Biden is clamping down on that, and I.
That's what the embargo is for, I assume,
that's part of it. It's a very complex situation, 90
as
miles.
all these things are, of course.
Yeah. But either way. I just think these people, before communism and the Castros, they were run by like petrochemical companies, sugarcane companies. Batista regime before Castro, which is why Castro took over, was so corrupt. I mean, basically, our mafia ruled Cuba in the 1950s, and people were not having that. And Castro tried to do the right thing, but then he got corrupt. I don't know what his agenda was. Maybe it was good at the start, maybe it wasn't, but all I know is it wound up pretty shitty. And so once again, they're all oppressed, and it's all just like a handful of people that have wealth in that country, and everyone else is just scrambling around for scraps, man.
I don't like it.
Nah.
That sucks.
Well, we're headed there.
Yeah.
All countries are headed there. Fascism is the new black or whatever. Pink is, it's like
The middle class has evaporated in the U.S. That's for sure.
Well, all over the world.
Yeah.
They're making it that way. It's like there's worker ants and there's owners, and that's it.
But at least we're sending billionaires to space. At least.
At least
In cock
we
ships.
sent a giant dick into space.
And the rocket too.
And the rocket too. Finally.
Perfect.
Yeah.
My God, man. So in better news, you have a new record done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
In better
Forgot
news.
about that.
Yeah. Let's talk about some fun stuff for a bit. I've heard the new record, and I'm very stoked about it. It's called Moral Hygiene.
Yes, sir.
Comes out October 1st of this year.
Yes, sir.
And I imagine you're looking forward to getting back on the road because you've had a stolen 2 years, technically, of touring time.
My financial manager is very happy I'm touring again.
I bet. I bet.
Me, I'm happy I'm touring because I really like these songs.
Yeah.
I think this is a good record, and it's also like a nostalgia trip. Like, do some acid and come see us play a bunch of Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste, which I think turned, 90?
30. Is it 30? 30 now?
70. I don't know how long ago we did that. But we'll start introducing some of the new songs on this one, and I'm really excited to play those because right before the quarantine actually clamped down, we were in rehearsal. We were set to go to Australia the next day.
Oh, yeah.
When everything got canceled. I think you remember that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, but during rehearsals, we played some of the new stuff, and we actually blew away ourselves. We were like, yeah.
This is going to work.
This is going to work. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So 30 years of Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste.
Oh, God.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Can you go back? Do you remember making the record? Do you remember those days pretty well? Some laughter in the background from someone who I think knows the answer already.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Okay.
I was there.
Technically.
I have proof.
Right. In body, you were there. In mind, you may have been elsewhere.
In mind, I have proof as the record.
Yeah.
And in body, I have witnesses that I was there. But do I really remember any existential moments of this or anything? No, not
really.
really. No, and not only that, it was confusing because we were doing everything at the same time. So Mine is a Terrible Thing to Taste. We were also doing Pailhead and Thousand Homo DJs. And then Acid Horse came in for a couple weeks from England. And we were doing PTP because there was a soundtrack for RoboCop. And then it was like 6 different things at once going on at the same time. So we just literally block booked a year in this studio, like 365 days, and just went to work every day, got wasted every day.
I didn't realize all that stuff happened at the same time.
At the same time. That's why on this tour, we're also playing some of the stuff from what was recorded on the same 2 inches. Sometimes, like, a 2-inch will have, like, 2 Pailhead songs and a Ministry song. Other ones will have this and that. So, yeah, it was crazy.
I've talked to you a bit before, and I've probably picked your brain too much to the point that it annoys you about Pailhead stuff. Pailhead, for me, is my #1 favorite side project any band person has ever had.
Well, that's because of Ian MacKaye.
Well, it's because of both of you. It's two people that you would never think to put together, which is something that you're great at, is bringing in someone you wouldn't expect and collaborating with people that aren't the obvious choices. And it was such a cool EP that you guys made.
Yeah, I just remember I first met Ian in Wood Green, England. I was recording at Southern Studios during Twitch, actually. And he was on the Southern Distribution Network, which was run by Crass and all that stuff in England, and he was there for a few days. And he came down just to see, there's an American down in the studio. And, so we started talking and all this, and asked him to play on some stuff. And at that point, I was a heavy, heavy drug user. And, of course, he's Mr. Straight
Just like
Edge.
the most as straight as it gets.
Yeah, right.
Like he's like the poster child for straight edge, hardcore punk rock
exactly.
guys.
But as we talked, we realized we have a lot of the same ideas, goals, agendas, this and that. And he put it succinctly, I think, when he said, like, okay, you know what? You're not bad. Like, not looking down on me because he was straight and I was wasted.
Mm-hmm.
He just said, we're going to the same place, except that I drive my own car and you take a taxi. That was an interesting analogy.
Yeah.
But we're going to wind up at the same place, but you might want to think about buying a car.
Right. Wow. That's great. Have you talked to him at all recently? Have you ever? Yeah.
About a couple months ago.
Okay.
Whatever, yeah.
I want to hear more. I want you guys to do more stuff.
Oh, I would love to.
Yeah.
I would love to. See what his schedule's like, you know.
Did that ever happen live? Do you guys ever play together live?
Never on stage, and it almost happened in DC once. Almost. And I forget what happened, but he wound up there like after show, and something stalled him to where he couldn't be on stage. We knew that we were going to play together, but he was late. So So I guess he must have taken an Uber.
I'm holding out hope to see it someday. That would be incredible. How did those songs come about? Was that did you come in with music, or did you guys collaborate together on that?
Well, some of that stuff started when I met him in England. Like, for instance, I Will Refuse was supposed to go on that Ministry record, and originally it was really weird when I was recording in England and I was living there for a while. Like, Chris Connolly came down from Scotland. He was in a band called Finney Tribe, and he just heard that I was recording and living there and wanted to come down and go, man, I'm a huge fan of what you're doing and all this stuff.
Oh, you and Chris didn't know each other at that point?
No.
Okay.
He just came down.
Okay.
And just came down from Edinburgh and slept in Wood Green for a night at some hostel and came in the next day. And so I said, okay, well, like I say to anyone that comes into a studio that I'm in, it's just like, well, put your fucking ass to work, man.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to sit here and talk with you. Do something.
Yeah.
You know? So Chris sang some lyrics on I Will Refuse. I think I still have the original
no shit.
thing of him, and it was about like the most vile. I think he was just trying to impress me or something, and he was singing about like raping a nun or something like that, and I'm just like, dude, yeah, thanks, you sound great, but you know,
This ain't what I'm looking for.
And then the next day, Ian MacKaye arrived, and also was in Southern Studios, and so he came in, we talked for a while, and I said, well, put your ass to work, man. And then...
But no nun rape, please.
No, I didn't even say anything that Chris had done anything or like something I wasn't going to use. I just knew that I was not going to use what he did. And Ian came up with I Will Refuse, the lyrics, like in 5 minutes. And, one take and boom, done. And then we're going, wow, that sounds really good. Not sure where it fits on this Ministry record, but it sounds really good, so we should explore this when we get back to the States in Chicago at Chicago Tracks. Then I called him up and said, hey, you got a week or so? And he was like, yeah. So he came out, and I actually got him to drink beer.
What?
Yes, sir.
What?
I got him to drink beer.
How? I just thought that would be something he would never, ever do.
Not only did
he didn't refuse.
No. No,
I will not refuse.
He did not refuse. I think it might have been his only time, but he drank beer, and we got a kind of a borrowed credit card number for back then in the phone. In those
Darren,
days.
will you please Google borrowed credit card number? I'm curious what that means.
I'm on it.
Cool, thank you.
And we just went on like these sex chats with Ian MacKaye drinking beer on a sex chat. So, and that became another song on Pailhead with some of the samples that we got from the phone.
Is that what the ballad is?
Yeah.
That's what that's from?
Yeah.
Where the women's at? I don't know.
Yeah.
They went off. I scared them off.
That's all from some sex line that we we kind of absconded the owner of the studio's code for the phone to like be able to call these 1-900, 1-800 numbers, whatever.
I gotta find that real quick. That is so amazing. I had no idea that that's what that's from.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Most of the stuff that people really read into ministry and think we're like this like real highbrow band and all that, it's actually just a bunch of accidents and we're just a bunch of dopes.
Well, I remember you saying that to me before, is that you had this thought of, this right here, it is right here.
Where's the women there? I don't know, they went off, they scared them off.
Yeah.
That's from a phone sex line.
Yes.
Wow.
With Ian MacKaye actually drinking beer and doing that. I man, Ian, don't kill me.
He's not listening, I'm sure. But maybe he
please
will.
Don't kill me. And he's not like that. But for that little couple days, we kind of met halfway. Let's put it that way.
I feel like every time I talk to you, you have a story like this. You have so many wonderful stories. You've had so many crazy experiences that you just couldn't write if you tried.
I don't want to try.
Yeah.
No, I'm good with like just keeping the cartoons in my own head.
Sure. Have there been moments in your career where you're either having a conversation with someone you've met through music or an actor or a philosopher where you're like, I can't believe this is happening right now?
Oh yeah. Oh, William Burroughs first
there
pops
you go.
to mind, man. It's just like, whoa. First of all, I was a day late to the shooting of the video in Lawrence, Kansas.
That's very late.
That's late, but I was
I'm running behind.
No, I was actually doing a mix for Revco, and the mix just wasn't done, and I was just like, so they had everyone in Lawrence, the whole camera crew and everything, waiting for me, and so me and a friend of mine in Chicago drove to Lawrence. I don't know, 6, 7, 8 hours drive, something like that. And got there with the address we were given, and Burroughs answers the door after we knock, and he just looks at both me and my driver and just goes, "Are you holding?" And we're like, no, because we had actually stopped in Kansas City to try and score some heroin, and the cops chased us out of the neighborhood because two whiteys in an out-of-town plate.
You don't belong here, yeah.
Yeah, and so we weren't holding. Are you holding? So he just slammed the door. That was it. So we had to drive back to Kansas City
To get some shit to bring back for him?
bring back, and knocked on the door again. Like 3 hours later, he opened the door. He goes, "You got something for me?" I'm like, "Yep."
Come on.
And we got to sit down and shoot up with William Burroughs, which was on strict no heroin policy, except for his manager / lover, this and that, was sick with the flu. And so it was like Bill was like a 73-year-old at the time, like on spring break. It's like, whoa, my handler's gone, and I got these two knuckleheads here with dope.
Right. So rather than go to the strip club or whatever, he's going to do dope with some industrial rock star dudes. Good plan. That's good.
That was good.
That's good. What video was that for?
Just one fix.
Yeah.
Of course.
Of course. Yeah. Perfect. How wonderful.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So again, moral hygiene. These songs were done with you and Billy Morrison, correct? Some of these.
Billy Morrison was one of the people that heavily contributed on this album.
Did the art for the cover? Yeah.
We discussed it, and he found the actual Moral Hygiene Betty. That's what we call her. Our new facade, our new face of ministry is MH Betty.
Beautiful. I love it. So it's like a mascot, like a new mascot for the band.
New mascot. Yeah.
Awesome.
Let's see if we can't get some giant inflatables of her on stage at some point. Like, we had giant inflatable Trumps at one point, I think.
Put those away.
Yeah. No, those are gone. Those are eaten up or by raccoons or something. I think we left them in a garage.
Hasn't it been nice to not think of him every day? Like there's literally days that go by where he doesn't go through my head. And same thing with Biden, and it's wonderful.
It's just nice to be able to sleep at night without fucking sedatives.
Yep.
since Biden's been in, there's no need to have a sleep aid. So,
because he is relaxing to talk to as well, to listen to. I mean,
hey man, Sleepy Joe is a good
I'll take
thing,
it.
not a bad thing.
I don't want to think of the president every day.
You know,
ever.
Yeah, after the fucking Third Reich or whatever we had before, man.
That's really great.
It's like,
You also added, you got a little bit of a new lineup for the touring company that's coming up. You added an amazing guitar player.
yeah, Monty Pittman. He's pretty special. Taught Madonna how to play guitar, and I didn't think that was possible.
Yeah. You've known him a while, is that right?
I've known Madonna even longer.
You know Madonna?
Well, one chance meeting at Studio 54 in the early 1980s when we both got signed to Sire.
Oh, okay. So you were label mates.
Label mates. And if Monty could teach her guitar, he can play in my band any day, because I'm not sure that girl was capable of it, to be honest, when I met her. So when I heard that he taught her guitar, I'm like, wow, that's a feather in your cap, man. I was thinking more like maybe you taught her how to walk upright and not fall down in her own vomit and smell like stink. You know,
so what you're saying is she didn't really have it together in the early 80s.
Right, in the
is what you're trying to
80s,
say.
yeah,
what you're dancing around saying is that she had some struggles.
Yeah, we all did.
What was that? What was that like, that scene back then? Studio 54 in the 80s.
I very limited exposure to it. We played there once, Ministry, and it was the worst Ministry show ever in the history. And I know some people go, no, this one sucked worse.
You got that must feel good.
Yeah, no,
no, this one's worse.
I know this one because we used a TAC 4-track, reel-to-reel, for our backing stuff. And we had a new roadie that night at Studio 54 from New York because we couldn't afford to bring somebody from Chicago. So we just hired a local.
Go local, yeah.
He put the tape on backwards. So when we started the show...
4 songs in, you noticed that something was wrong.
Well, because like you always put the click track on the 4th track that goes to the drummer only.
Right. So the click was coming out to the crowd?
The click was track 1, louder than shit. And that's how we started our show. So it was a disaster. And then the next time I went there was with Seymour Stein to try and sign me and introduce me to his other signees, this weird chick named Madonna, who I was like, wow, she's a mess coming from me. That's bad.
You don't want to hear that from Al. No. If Al calls you a mess back then, you should probably think about doing something else. Jesus.
Well, she did all right.
I guess that's one of the problems with being in electronic music, is that you rely so much on that kind of technology where when something goes wrong, it's not like you can just keep playing through it.
Well, we've worked our way around that now. Most of our stuff is really, it's literally played.
Oh, yeah.
There's very few that are just straight singing to a backup tape.
And JB plays so much of the actual parts now, where it's like a real band.
The good thing is that we can deviate on any given night. It doesn't have to be the same thing, because we set it up that way specifically because after Land of Rape and Honey came out, we had this little problem with like the right-wing skinheads thought that this was a pro-Nazi thing because the song starts out with the Zig Heils, and all I'm doing is making fun of the whole thing.
It's amazing that people don't pick up on that kind of stuff.
And they didn't pick up on it, so we started having like skinheads show up to our shows and Zig Heiling me, and I was not
you're like, I hate you guys.
I know.
I hate you. Get out of here.
So I jumped out into the crowd and got into a fight, surrounded, got my ass beat, and missed getting back on stage for the second verse, and you could hear.
Oh, they're coming through a little bit.
So I'm just like, we can't do this anymore. Right. Just in case if I jump out and start a fight.
If I gotta fuck someone up, I can't have my vocals going on stage anymore, because you never know when I'm gonna go crazy.
Something like that.
I gotta fight Nazis sometimes. Sometimes you gotta punch a Nazi. Yeah. Wow, that's a very unfortunate misunderstanding to all of a sudden take in a whole like a skinhead fan base on accident.
Well, and they always were right up front.
Of course, they
Of
want to be
course,
seen.
yeah.
They want to impress
Well-
you and
Well,
giving
they
you all the
bullied their way
bullshit.
up front. Yeah. No, I wasn't into it. So
Jesus. I also want to talk to you about something. Your White Sox are doing really, really
baby.
well this year.
oh man, when we get Robert and Jimenez back, we just need a relief pitcher. Beside, like our back end is good, but
You got a week to find somebody.
I think we might be able to do it, and I say this with like a Chicago mind and heart, knowing failure is right around the corner. We know this, but this one
I can relate, as you know.
Yes,
Yeah. Well, not
with
anymore,
Boston.
but
Not
like
anymore,
years
right.
ago, I could relate
Yeah.
to that.
This is a good team. This is a really good team.
I'm a baseball fanatic, as you know, and I did not expect this from the White Sox this year.
I did not expect it when those two guys went down in spring training, and Grandal being out and everything. I'm just like, how do they keep winning?
That's like the Red Sox, like they lost Chris Sale for the
How
whole
are
year.
they doing it this year? These are the two
This
magic
is-
teams this year: is the Red Sox and White Sox.
There's something about it's not about star power. I've never believed that. It's chemistry. And
Yeah.
you can't buy chemistry. You
Right.
can't cultivate it.
Well, you
it's
can
either-
buy chemistry. Trust me, I've done that.
Not that kind. Sports chemistry.
Okay.
Not mind-altering chemistry,
okay.
creative chemistry.
All right,
But like, yeah, chemistry in sports, it's more important than, I mean, talent's important, but sometimes chemistry is just, it is the key ingredient to a winning team.
And there is no way to make chemistry. It just happens. It's like this, once in a generation thing where certain teams just like they just mesh.
Yep.
And they get better than they usually are. They go to other teams afterwards in a contract squabble or something, and they suck. But on that year, on that team, with that manager, with that whatever, with those fans, it just all seems magical.
Well, I mean, you can probably relate too, because you've had so many different band members in ministry over the years, and you can have certain guys playing the same songs, but sometimes that chemistry and that vibe is just there because you've either taken one piece out that wasn't quite right, or you've added something where they're playing the same thing, but there's soul in it. There's something. It's just
There's
totally
something-
different.
No, that's a really good observation, and I think that's what happened on the rehearsals right before it got canceled and quarantined. Wow, we were hitting a stride. Like this is going to be good.
Can you put your finger on what that was?
No, absolutely. There's no explanation. I mean, obviously everyone can play. Everyone's really adept at their instrument and artistic in nature and all this. But like, no, like you said, you can't put your finger on it. It's just you just get this electricity that starts going. So,
If you were to piece together your all-time ministry touring band with members from any era, what would it be?
oh, dude, don't do this to me.
You have 20 seconds. Go.
Well,
Paying
well-
respect to everyone who's been involved. But if you were to put together your super group, if you could, you have to play one last show, you can bring anyone back from
well, I'll tell
the
you
dead.
this.
You can do whatever you want.
How about this?
Yeah.
And instead of doing it that way, let's just say that the Rio Grande Blood Tour lineup was insanity. On some nights, it was the most incredible thing I've ever heard. There was no middle ground. And other nights, due to like a lot of foreign substances inside
Chemistry.
chemistry, science,
Science.
we sucked.
Okay.
I've never been that like. There was no middle ground. It wasn't like a professional show. It was either absolute magic, which I don't think I could ever hit back on that tour. We had
Who was that lineup?
Paul Raven was on bass. Joey Jordison was on drums. Mike Scascia
Rest in
on
peace.
guitar.
Yeah.
Tommy Victor on guitar.
So you had two-prong guys in the band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then John Bechtel
Yep.
on keyboards and me.
That's a killer lineup.
Yeah. But like I said, this lineup is much more like pro. We're not going to have the highs and lows. It's all going to be like really good.
Right.
Because there's no like drug problems in the band or anything anymore. And back then, like I said, some nights were magical and other nights were just like you just wanted to hide in shame.
And those bad nights, I've been in bands too. Those bad nights, you know from the first song that it's going to be that.
I know from like when
It's in the air sometimes.
Well,
you pull up at the venue and you're like, oh.
well, when you try and do a sound check and your drummer throws up on himself and crawls off the thing and passes out behind the drums, you're like,
You're saying that's a bad sign.
this might be a night that I don't know. This
Can't
might
wait
not
for
go
the next
well.
city.
Yeah, right. One of those deals.
I know Mike is one of your all-time favorite people, right?
Yeah, best friend of all time.
Yep. I've never seen someone who could play the way that he does, to play as fast as he did and as precise. I mean, he was like a machine. Truly like a machine.
No, I mean, seriously, his right hand, it's like, if he wanted to masturbate and I was his penis, I would be worried.
Just take it right off.
I mean, this guy's
What an
right
honor.
hand-
What an honor for you to say about him. I mean, he would be, I'm sure he's loving it. Loving hearing that.
I would,
If you were his penis.
I'd call 911
Yeah.
if he decided to masturbate.
He's reaching for me. We're in trouble. Send help. Send help. And he was so precise. It was just
Man.
unbelievable.
But the
And you're a great player. I mean, you can play that speed stuff. I didn't.
not anywhere like that. And I'm more of a blues player. But like Mikey, the great thing about Mikey was by the end of his life, he was much more than just that. He started really getting into like classical guitar, weird obscure country and blues, and started becoming more soulful. His leads that he did on like Buck Satan right before he died, and this other band I recorded called the Dusters, which still,
You played me for some of that stuff. It's
just-
so cool.
It's so cool. I mean, he just became an overall kind of like guitar legend at that point.
Which is what the best guys can play anything.
Yeah, he wasn't a one-trick pony by the end.
Or like, some of the best metal guys I've known, like they also want to know jazz. You want to
Yes,
know, because you
yes.
learn different things you can bring in and make
Yeah.
it your own, and
Yeah.
that's what makes you stand out
Exactly.
in whatever genre you're in.
Exactly.
And who else is in the band? What's the lineup right now?
Cesar Soto on guitar, Monty Pittman on guitar, John Bechtel on keyboards, Roy Mayorga on drums, and Paul D'Amore from Tool on bass.
Beautiful. I'm happy Roy is back. That seems like a nice
yeah,
fit.
well, Roy, I think he's happy being back.
Yeah, he adds a lot.
Yeah, he does. And it's great to have another Cuban on the band, too.
Oh, I didn't know he was.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Cuban ministry. That's what we've always wanted.
Yeah, we're going to run for president and vice president there as soon as we get it.
I'm looking forward to that.
Vote Jourgensen Mayorga, Havana 2022.
Beautiful. While I have you here, I did want to I want to thank you because, Ministry is one of my favorite bands of all time, and it has been an honor to when you came in to do Dark Matter with Dave and I.
Oh, that was awesome.
It was very, very cool for me, and I actually would have never thought that you and I would become friendly and that I would end up work for you. And you came in and you did the Every Day is Halloween acoustic on our show.
Yeah, that was very cathartic for me, by the way. You don't know, like, to you, you're saying, like, this meant a lot to you.
Mm-hmm.
That meant a lot to me. That exercised a lot of demons in my life.
How so?
To just be able to confidently do that song in an acoustic way, raw, naked, no tarting it up. You're just an old naked guy in there singing what you truly felt at the time when you were a teenager, practically. I wrote that song when I was like 20, and I'm 62 now. So, and you kind of like, you get put in this, you're a pop band when that came out, and then when with Sympathy, the Arista fiasco, whatever, and even with Twitch, you're a pop band, and so we kept going more and more metal, and it was really nice to exercise those demons and go, you know what, I'm proud of that early stuff. And it happened for a reason, and I'm glad I did it, and it got me to where I'm at today. So it meant as much to me, especially with you and Dave involved. That was awesome, man. That was seriously a moment.
I know a lot of this audience knows what we're talking about, but if you haven't heard the song, the original, you can find Every Day is Halloween anywhere you can stream music or buy music. But that song was...
the YouTube thing is great.
Well,
that pretty much captures it, yeah.
Perfect. We'll get to that in a second. That song is such an anthem for... I mean, you've heard this a million times, but an anthem for people like me when I was a teenager.
Right.
I didn't fit in with... I wasn't a group.
It's just an anthem of disenfranchisement. That's it. It's just people that feel disenfranchised from society.
And it makes you feel confident in being yourself and knowing that you can find others that share your life.
Bingo, yeah.
And what I didn't realize, and none of us could have anticipated, is that we would redo that song at a time when there's so much struggle with trans kids and still people struggling to come out to parents about being gay or being different or having different thoughts.
Right.
And it also, it's almost taken on like a whole new life for some of those people. Like I very rarely go and read like comments from videos, or I don't really read comments from this show. But I have gone on because I was so proud of the video we did for that song. Yeah. And something people may not know is that video, there's no lip syncing. That's the actual recording of the actual takes. Yeah. So it's not like a music video. Right. No one's pretending. That's all the real shit. Right. But the comments in that, it made me so like proud for you to see how many people you've affected with your music, and that song in particular has helped people for decades, for almost 40 years.
You know what I'm finding out, and I'm proud of this fact, is that for the LGBTQ community, this has really become a rallying cry. And that's not why I wrote it. I was 21, but they've really adopted that as something that pretty much describes how they feel just walking down the street on any given day.
Exactly.
And so yeah, I'm proud of that, and that's why it was nice to do it naked with you guys in that moment. That was special.
And it ended up leading. So you also put this book out last year, the Ministry of Prescripture, the Visual History of Ministry, which is absolutely incredible. The stuff that's in this book. Like you haven't read it. You haven't gone through it. Al heard it's good.
I've looked at a couple pics and just went, oh God, I wish I was that young again.
You won't be that young again, but you're still putting out great shit. But this is so cool. Just for me, being such a fan of the band, and you having the record we did actually turn into a little
7-inch.
Little guy is beautiful. Yeah. So thank you for the opportunity to do all that kind of stuff. It's like a really. I mean,
it was a gas.
Not to gush too much, but it's a real dream come true.
It helped me more. It helped me more than it helped you. Trust me. So I appreciate it, and I thank you.
I'm happy to be any part of it I could possibly be. When does the tour kick off for you guys?
October 3rd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed that things stay okay.
Well,
with the country, not with you guys, of course. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Not with us. We're all.
You guys are great, ready to go.
Vaxxed and ready to go.
Yep.
Double vaxxed.
Mm-hmm.
I may even get a booster and be triple vaxxed before this.
Give me all of it. I want all of them.
Yeah. Just at this point, reluctance to this is just like. The other night on the Colbert Show, they just had like, well, what if they had social media back when polio vaccine came in? And like, oh, don't do that, the government's buying it, and we'd still have polio. And just like...
and we don't have polio now because of vaccines.
Right, and you know what? Oh, and okay, so even if we're microchipped, you think we're not already microchipped? Just your phone.
Come on.
Exactly. So, and is there alien DNA in there? Is this a lizard conspiracy? Yeah,
bring it.
I hope.
Does it make me better? Cool, right. I'll take it.
I
can use some improvements.
And if it kills us all, great. We're all going down at the same time.
My favorite. I've seen more than one occasion of anti-vaxxers being interviewed, and they're smoking a cigarette and being like, I don't know what's in these things. I don't want the vaccine. It might poison me as they're smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, and You know how many chemicals are in this e-cig that
All
I
of
have
them.
right now? Yeah.
Everything.
I'm hoping this keeps me vaccinated too.
It'll pickle you at least a little bit.
Well, Burroughs was definitely the definition of pickling.
Sure.
Because I've seen pictures of that guy when he was like 33, and I met him when he was about 73. He died at about 78. But like, he didn't age or unage. He just stayed pickled for 40 years. So I'm trying to follow those footsteps.
Don't follow him too close.
No.
I want you around for more than 20 years.
No.
Yeah.
I have a different regimen now.
Yes,
I
you do.
traded in my hypodermic needle for an exercise bike.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
there
You
you
do
go.
look good, by the way.
Thanks, man.
Good complexion. You look strong. You look sexy.
Yeah, damn it.
Ready to hit the road.
Let's fuck right now, man. Just stop this
Darren, turn the
fuck.
cameras off. I'm going to fuck this guy right now.
No, I hit the zoom on the.
Oh, good.
On the handsome gentleman.
You have to zoom in on mine because it's a little hard to see right now. But so who are you touring with? What's the lineup?
Okay.
Not the lineup, but
Yeah.
who's on the bill?
Yeah, so Helmet is opening, and I love Paige.
Paige is the first autograph I ever got.
Right? They just did such great anthems, man. And
God,
and-
I was
and
a
they're
Helmet
just
fanatic back in the
right?
day.
And they're just such good people. And then opening is a Canadian band, which is just also Wax Trax kind of related band, Frontline Assembly.
Oh yeah, of course.
Of course. So
I didn't know they were Canadian, actually.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, BC. Yeah, they're BC
Got you.
all the way.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it's a really strong lineup. I think it's a good night. Good
I can't
night
wait
of
to see it.
entertainment. Wear a mask. Get vaxxed.
Please,
Come. Yeah.
guys, we got to do the right thing here. What? Oh, Ministry. Thank you, Liz. Ministry is now on TikTok, so you can watch Al do.
What?
You can see
We're
Al
on
doing all his
TikTok.
dances and his funny faces.
We're on TikTok now.
Breaking news, everyone. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Well, it's breaking news to me, man.
I can't wait to see you embrace the TikTok nation. It's going to be so good.
I'm scared.
Catch the tour on TikTok coming this
I'm
October.
already scared. All right, Liz, I will talk to you after this interview
TikTok
about
to her.
what that means. What? No, I'm not sure.
I was going to ask you, do you know what TikTok is?
It's something that kids use to like do Korean pop bands or something.
It's exactly what it is.
Ah,
Yeah.
it's
Pretty
kinda-
much. It's pretty much
Yeah.
pretty spot on, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what Ministry does on there. Are you going to be running it?
Well, so I can't
Good Trouble,
wait
okay.
either.
Beautiful.
All right.
Oh, also, yeah, you can listen to one of the new Ministry songs on Spotify, which came out a couple weeks ago, and it's called Good Trouble, which is fucking great.
Right. Well, Alert Level came out too, which is on this new album, which I think is also both of them are just leading to the point in this album. As you see the album builds, you've heard the whole album, and it's like a story. It's not just a bunch of mishmash stuff thrown together of one hit here, one kind of like mail it in there. You know, it's a story that goes on for 50 minutes or whatever it is, and
It's one of those records, too, where I like that each song is like a baton to the next song.
Right, exactly.
It's the whole thing pretty continuous. There's not
Yeah.
a lot of breaks in it, right?
No, there's no breaks. It's all continuous, which is my own drummer, Roy, just said, like, this is the only album since Dark Side of the Moon that I can just put on and leave it.
That's awesome.
I don't have to flip anything. It's just top to bottom. All the way. So, and it's not even like on vinyl, like where you have to flip it.
Just goes.
And that was like probably the biggest compliment I've gotten about this record was from my own drummer. So,
It definitely does stand out. I mean, when I first heard it, I did notice that right away, is that it feels like it's one cohesive thought the whole way through.
yeah.
I mean, different themes and different stuff, but it's like
taking a big long crap.
the best.
The best
The good
satisfying ones in
Yes.
the morning.
The
Yeah.
new Ministry record is one big shit. Yeah. Enjoy, everybody. What else is inspiring you musically lately? I know before we started talking, you were mentioning a soundtrack you were listening to.
Yeah, I basically just listen to scores and stuff now. There's no band or anything. I don't know what is what. I didn't even TikTok, this, that, whatever. But I've been dissecting old scores lately of things like, the James Bond stuff and all that. Now that they've been put together on Spotify in like cohesive things, like you can get a whole playlist going of just like, and start picking the minds of arrangements and why they did things the way they did. I find it fascinating. And the production, with half the technology that we have today, the production is 5 times as good.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah. We have more options now than ever, and yet everything sounds the same. Back then, they had very little options.
But you had to be more creative, which is why I feel like movies with tiny budgets are so much better. Because it forces you to make more creative decisions,
Right.
Stretch your buck and do whatever.
Or rock videos with tiny budgets.
There you go. What do you know about those? What are you talking about?
No,
I saw some pictures from you got a video coming out soon that I am so thrilled to see.
Yeah, and that was tiny budget compared to what Dean Carr's used to, right? Working with Korn and Nine Inch Nails and things. He's used to getting the big greenbacks. But with us, he got some crumbs.
Yep.
And
but there's more stuff coming from Ministry in the coming months.
Yeah.
Everyone can look forward to that. You can follow Ministry at We Are Ministry on Twitter, Instagram. What is the TikTok? Same kind of thing? We Are Ministry.
Jesus.
But get tickets for that tour. There's still some available. It's going to be an awesome tour, and I cannot wait to see you guys out there doing
You'll
some
be
shows.
there. I know you'll be there.
I'll be there. Of course I will. Of course. Right. And again, thank you for coming in. Thank you for everything. It's been wonderful getting to know you and Liz over the last few years, and I really appreciate both of you very, very much.
We love you, Dan.
I love you too, buddy. I love you
really
both. I love you too. Thank you. Darren, I'm going to have you read that. Come on. Read some copy for us. There you go. Get in there. You can say hi. Liz, get on the mic. Get on the mic.
Find us on Instagram and Twitter at Rareform Radio, also on iTunes. Please subscribe, rate us, and leave us a review. We are on YouTube, and you can find us just by searching Rareform Audio.
Rareform Radio.
Shit. Rareform Radio.
Don't worry, Liz has a minor brain injury, but she's going to be fine, everybody. Thank you, Liz. That was pretty good until the very end. It's great to save your mistake until the last word.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like Elvis has left the building
forever.
Yeah. Well, she does that a lot. It's like she's one of these like fucking people that swear to God, man, like a dog.
Wait, whoa.
Farts,
Careful.
She farts and leaves the room.
Oh, of course, that's the move.
No, you stand there and you be proud of it, or you stand there and you admit it.
You can be proud from afar. It's like a car. It's like a car bomb person. You know, you leave the car bomb, you leave, and you appreciate it from afar.
It's like a car bomb. Trust me, I love her to death, but man, she's got to work on this fucking intestine. It's like she left me in tears the other day. Just left the room.
Is that why you have so many gas masks in all your pictures and videos and everything? It's a history of because he lives with a chemical assassin over here.
Yes, she's good, man.
The good ones always are. My wife's the same way, and that's why she's a keeper.
There you go.
That's real love.
That's real love.
And if you can put up with that nonsense from her, that's love. Yeah. And she puts up with plenty too, by the way.
Yeah. I would actually tilt that in her favor that she puts up with a lot more than I do.
Yeah, she keeps you going.
Now
good.
that I have a microphone, I just had to vent that.
Of course.
Oh, there she goes. Oh my God.
Well, that's a perfect way to end the show. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Al. Thank you, Liz. We Are Ministry. Go to the website, get tickets for the upcoming tour. Can't wait to see you guys. Love you both. Thanks for everything. Thank you, Darren, and everyone else.
Yeah, man.
Thanks, Darren.
We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Al.
This is Lola, and I'm here to tell the world to stop being such pussies and listen to Rareform Radio.